Hey everybody, it's Holly.
And Heather.
And welcome to another Sunday edition of Everything Elvis Live. It's us live on here again. Lots to talk about today. I titled the episode, uh, What's the Future of Graceland? So today we're going to be talking about a ton of different things. We're going to really deep dive into the Presley for a Day. And I was like, I don't know what to call it. Is it like an event? Experience. So a lot of you all have been messaging us just wanting to talk about it and your thoughts. So that's going to bring about some interesting conversation. Plus, along with that, we thought let's talk about the future of Graceland. Riley Keoughs is going on her book tour, so she's really going to be promoting that, and also I think promoting Graceland as well. And then we're leading up to this 50th anniversary in a few years. But Heather and I got into a deep discussion about it a while ago. And we're thinking, what does it look like the next, say, 10 years, 20 years for the next generation? So today's going to be an interesting one. And I can't wait to hear all of your thoughts and discuss, have a great conversation about all this. So Heather,
hey,
what are you thinking?
I
have to preface this with Heather's sick today.
Yeah. But I'm here. I'm excited to talk about this because I think it's going to be, like Holly said, interesting. So settle in. I see more and more of you jumping on.
Yes.
So yeah, get your water and your coffee. I've got mine, but if I do start to cough, just pardon me. I don't know. It's just some kind of like allergies and cold that I've been battling for the last several days. And so
I know.
Yeah, it's craziness. But the weather is beautiful. It's been beautiful here the past several days. Last night was like in the 50s. It felt so good and so fall-like. Today it's like nice and breezy, and I haven't actually been outside, but I know you were. Yeah. Is it like pretty warm but nice?
It's fantastic. Yeah. The weather could not be better. It's like
so super,
not too hot, not too cold. Like I almost busted out a long sleeve shirt today, but I was like, no, I'm still gonna wait. Still gonna wait.
Yeah.
So
but fall is upon us. September the 8th. Here we are. But yeah, this is like, I feel like exciting times for Graceland and for Elvis fans. And that was, one of the things that Holly and I wanted to bring back from Elvis Week and that we wanted to talk about, because during the conversations on Elvis, when Linda Thompson and all the other guests were there, Tom Brown, of course, was the host, but he also had Joel Weinshanker come out. And he just, kind of spoke to the audience and talked a little bit about what's to come. And he said some very interesting things that we're going to talk about today. But yes, as we all know, coming up in 2027, that is going to be the 50th anniversary.
I can't believe
50th anniversary of Elvis's passing. Yeah. And so Graceland and EPE is already gearing up for that. And they're calling it Graceland's Road to the 50th. And Joel says over the next 3 years, as we approach that significant anniversary, they're going to be unveiling new projects, new experiences, new ideas, new things. And so they're going to do it little by little, but he did touch on a couple of those. And the very first one that they're going to be doing is what they're calling a Presley for a Day. So it is this new tour and experience that they are doing. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. So let us know, have you heard about it? Is it your first time hearing about it? Yeah, what do you think so far? And again, let me preface this episode with that this is just mine and Holly's opinions. We don't work for Graceland or EPE. We don't have all the insights and the know. We just read and try to research and stuff, and then just kind of make our own opinions and assumptions about how we feel about it and what we think about it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do today. But I guess, do you want to?
Yeah, and I'm very interested to hear what you guys, because I will say, unless you've been living under an Elvis rock, as soon as Joel announced it, it was like a buzz and everybody was talking about it, because it was a little, it's very grandiose, but that does come with a hefty price tag. And I think that's what most people are kind of and that's the controversy about it. But let's go.
There's been a lot on Graceland Insiders. There's been a lot of people posting about it and a lot of things said.
So in case you have been living under a rock, let me just go through it. I screenshotted it here so you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And then, in the comments, let us know. Heather will keep checking on those. Let us know what you're thinking about it. Are you going to do it? Are you not? Do you think it's going to be a hit? Do you think it's going to be a flop? But so it's called Presley for a Day, and it is in a new exclusive tour. So they are only going to do it for up to 8 people per day. I don't know if it's running every day, but every single day.
I checked on it, and yeah, it actually started September 6th. Ooh. So the very first tours were supposed to be this Friday.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they did one or who did it, because it is quite extravagant, and we'll talk about the price and stuff. Yeah. So I'm not sure if it is something that they're going to be able to do every single day, but they have the option there for everybody. If you go online, you can pick. It's every single day listed, and you can pick your date you want to do.
Yeah. So it's update people. It's 2 tours with a group of 4 people. So they'll do it twice a day. It's supposedly a 7 to 8 hour experience. It's going to take you to it says the Presley family's most beloved places on the Graceland grounds. It's going to give you access to some of the Presley family's most beloved items, grounds. It also has their favorite activities with like golf cart rides around the grounds. You can, I think, ride a horse or at least get your photo like taken on it or with it. You get a guided walk through the home's front pasture. You get a high-end dinner at the newly renovated Mariah's house. It's got a stunning view of Graceland's landscape from the back pasture. And then it says that here's some of the added perks. So let's go through all these perks. You get your own personalized concierge service.
And I'll break all this down in a second, because I've been listening to the Graceland beat, so I know a little bit.
So I'll just hit it and you'll go, or should I hit each one and you?
We'll just talk about it, and then we'll go into it.
So you get a concierge experience. They'll help you plan, I guess, what you want to do for the day, so that you're not. And that's a great service, because if I'm paying that much, I don't want to get there and be like, what are we gonna do? Like, I think that's great that somebody will be like, here's all your options. Here's the time frame. Here's what we can do. You get a personal tour guide, which I will say the last couple of times we have been to Graceland, they have really, really stepped it up with their tour guides and just their personnel in general. Then you get guided tours of the entertainment complex, the airplanes, exclusive photo opportunities, and a white glove artifact experience. Awesome as always. You get golf cart transportation. So I think that's going to be super fun. You get a Graceland stable tour and horse experience. And then you get an elevated dining experience. So it's a high-end meal at Mariah's house. Then you're going to get Graceland archives experiences, so that you get a glimpse into the archives, how they work behind the scenes. Then you get an after hours Graceland mansion tour, which Heather and I have done this before, and it is always amazing. It's like we say, there's something magical about Graceland after dark and Graceland at night. And then you get an exclusive swag bag. It's valued at over $450 with exclusive items just for the Presley for a Day guest. So that's what it all entails. So that's quite a bit. It's quite a bit.
Yeah.
So Heather, I know you've been listening. Let's break it down and see what.
Well, I see some great questions. I see some interesting questions. We're going to try to get to all those, because they're like bam on the screen, and I'm like, yep. Those are all the questions I have as well. Those are a lot of the questions that people have had. So yeah, let's just kind of like break it down a little bit as well. So this experience is $6,000 for 4 people. Yes, that is extravagant, especially right now in this economy and this world. That's a lot of money for majority of everybody, especially Holly and I. And I'm sure most of you out there, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Now, when you break it down, it is an experience for up to 4 people, which if you have 4 people that do it, that is $1,500 each. So that makes it a little more affordable. Like, if you can find 3 other besties or, other people to do it. And that is also one of the things that they've been talking about. If there are those of you out there that are interested in doing this, but let's say you're on your own. None of your other people and friends, family care about Elvis. Or if you just have you and your sister, or you and your best friend, or you and your mom, and you want to do it, you can reach out to Graceland and they'll put your name on a list. They'll get several dates from you that would accommodate and work for you. They'll put your name on a list, and then they'll try to match you with other couples or other people that want to do the tour as well. That way you don't have to like pay the full $6,000 or whatever. You can just pay your $1,500 per person. So, and when you think about it in that realm, you know, Graceland does a lot of these events and, you know, tours during Elvis week and stuff. Like they do the Graceland tours with Jerry Schilling. They've done them with Priscilla. They've done it with Linda Thompson. And those are always very pricey. You know, those right there are always usually around, they've been anywhere in the past from $1,000 to I think now $1,250 is what the tours with Jerry and Linda were this year. So for everything you're getting and a full day experience in 7 to 8 hours, you know, $1,500. Okay. You know, looking a little different, a little bit better. So I think that was a big question everybody had, is they were like, man, is this $6,000 a person? It's not $6,000 a person. So it basically breaks down to $1,500 a person. Also, I think another thing is that, yes, you're getting this concierge experience. So they're really trying to, you know, make this like a very VIP thing. So apparently when you book this tour, someone is going to reach out to you and they're literally going to get like your preferences on everything. They're going to ask you like, what do you like to drink? What do you like to eat? Allergies, dietary restrictions you have, and kind of customize all of that to you personally. I don't know if they're going to have like a set menu that you pick from, or if they're literally just going to be like, tell us the like ideal meal you would like to have. And then they'll have like a chef, you know, cook it and make it for you. Also, a lot of people were asking and were kind of up in arms about the horses. Everybody was like, why on earth would Graceland, you know, use the horses that are at Graceland? A lot of these are rescue horses. How dare they let people sit on these and ride these? That is not the case. So Graceland has purchased 2 horses specifically for this experience. So they have gone out and got trained horses that this is what they do. They are very tame. They are very mild. They are very trained to have people sit on them, ride them, that kind of thing.
Hold on, let me add one question. And maybe you guys can answer because I'm doubting Heather can. But what is the upper worth a rescue horse? Like, I would think a rescue horse would love the opportunity to be around.
I would just think that they're not trained. I would just think that they're not trained.
Because horses are very safety.
Yes.
They're not worried about the horses per se. They're worried more about the safety.
Both the horse's safety and the person. Because horses, I mean, I'm a horse lover, but I don't know a lot about horses. I'm sure some of you out there do. I think horses are beautiful, magical animals, and we all know that that was one of Elvis's favorite animals. He loved horses, as well as Priscilla. And that's been kind of, I think, a thing that Graceland's continued to do in Elvis's honor over the years, is to, you know, have rescue horses and things on the property.
That makes sense.
But, you know, rescue horses, you know, horses have to be trained. You know, horses are very temperamental. You know, they're very temperamental animals. And if they aren't trained and they're not used to, you know, people and people riding them, and, you know, people aren't comfortable, because people are nervous when you get on a horse, especially if you never have, it can like throw the horse off and trip them up and freak them out. You know, sounds and noises freak horses out. So they have to be really well trained. So, you know, I understand the kind of fear of, you know, the rescue horses and stuff. So I think that's kind of why. But they have purchased 2 horses that are going to be specifically used for this. And it's going to be a really cool opportunity because you do, I think, get to ride the horse around a little bit. So I'm guessing there's going to be like a trainer or a person that's, you know, familiar with horses there. And you get to like sit on the horse and have your picture made in front of Graceland, like Elvis. So that's really neat. And then everybody's been asking about this whole like Mariah's house. What is this? What does this mean? And I kind of wondered as well, because when Holly and I were doing our tour at Graceland this year during Elvis week, I kind of looked over in the like pasture in the field, and I saw like this little barn that's been there, but they were working on it. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, I wonder, you know, have they just gotten another horse? What's going on? Well, as we all know, you know, Elvis had his horse, Rising Sun. Lisa Marie had a pony called Mariah. And so apparently this little barn was where they housed Mariah. This was Mariah's little house.
Oh, that's adorable.
So now they have renovated it to be like this beautiful space that you can sit in and enjoy, and that's where you'll be dining. And they say that the view is just breathtaking out of it, like looking over the back of Graceland and like the lawn and everything. And so that is going to be where they kind of renovated to have this dinner and stuff. So that's what Mariah's house is. That's a significance, and that's why it's going to be a part of this tour and experience. I'm trying to think, what were the other things? Yeah, the golf ride thing is really cool because we all know that that was a huge thing with Elvis, and we've all seen the home videos and home movies of Elvis and Priscilla and little baby Lisa Marie and Elvis just going wild on those golf carts. You know, Lisa Marie, they say that was one of her favorite things to do when she came back to Graceland. She, you know, that's a special memory with her and her kids, and you know, Riley and Ben and Harper and Finley, that she would ride them on the golf carts. So you're going to get to kind of do that on the lawn as well, which how cool.
That's probably would be my favorite part. That and of course eating.
What an experience that's going to be.
Yeah.
And then it's supposed to be this whole like guided experience where, you know, you'll go through the archives. You'll do the archives tour with a guide. You'll go through the mansion and have a guide. And you're also supposed to get like more in-depth, intimate experiences in the mansion. So I know that they've been doing tours over the years. We have the, you know, just the tour of the mansion. You have the ultimate VIP tour that we talk about, where you have a personal guide and they share like some insights, and then you get an artifact to hold. But then they've also in the past done these things called hidden tours with Angie and Tom. And then even if you're like a founder, they do like special tours for them. And a lot of times with these tours, you get to hold more artifacts. And sometimes you even get to go what I call behind the ropes. Like you still have to like, you know, take your shoes off and, you know, bare feet or wear your socks and stuff. But you sometimes get to go like actually stand in the living room or in the music room.
Oh, wow.
So my guess is that's going to be a part of this experience and stuff. So a lot of really cool things, you know, again, I know it's expensive and I know it's pricey, but a lot of, you know, once in a lifetime moments and experiences if you are a tried and true Elvis fan and you want to live like a Presley for a day.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, it's super expensive, but if you compare it to some of the other things they've offered, it's almost a steal because like what, $1,250, you get like maybe a couple of hours with Linda or whoever like to take you around the mansion, which, you know, that to me is quite extravagant for a couple of hours, you know, even though she is knowledgeable and you know, Jerry and all that, and they're wonderful, and I'm sure they're wonderful tour guides. I don't know, when you compare it to that, and then I also think about other places, like, I mean, just to put a foot in the door at a theme park, you're looking at a couple $100. You know, by the time you pay the admission and the parking and the taxes and and then plus the food, you know, at a park, you're paying $30 for a hamburger at the park. So even if you're going to Dollywood or Six Flags or, you know, Hershey Park or something, you're looking at, if you've just yourself, you're looking at what, $300-400. So.
But I think it's a really cool, interesting idea. And the fact that it is going to be, you know, when you start again looking at the price, and it is expensive and extravagant, but you think about like the amount of time and the opportunity you're going to have, it kind of, you know, makes a little bit more sense because, you know, 7-8 hours to just like immerse yourself in Graceland and Elvis is pretty cool. You know, to get this after hours tour, like Holly and I say, is a great experience. To have your own personal tour guide. And since it's only going to be 4 of you, I mean, that's like, hands-on, you know, like you're going to be able to ask so many questions.
Now, I was just going to say,
you're going to be able to like spend so much more time like looking at the things, getting to ask the questions, like burning questions you've always wanted to ask and stuff, you know, really ask those things in the archives and stuff, because it is such a smaller group. So you're really going to be able to take your time, because I know a lot of times, you know, people say like, oh, you know, when I've done a tour of Graceland or I've done the Ultimate VIP, I feel a little rushed, or I feel like, you know, my group was too big or there was too many people. I feel like I didn't have a chance to really, you know, ask the questions or take the pictures I wanted. So this, I feel like you're going to have that time.
And I'm going to say this about Graceland though, and this is where Graceland is going to have to step it up. Their tour guides and this concierge are going to have to be a master at their craft, like at their game. It's going to have to be people that have either been there for a long time, because the worst thing you want to do, because I mean, I know this, if Heather and I ever decided to do this, I would have my questions. I would probably like start thinking of my questions or things I wanted to see or do or hear more about, like before I even got there, and probably have it written down and have a list. But it's like, it would be so disheartening to get there. And like the worst thing you can get is a tour guide that's like, I don't really know. Or could be, or I've only worked here 3 months, you know, so I really feel like maybe they will hire new people, but that tour guiding is their specialty, and maybe give them a course. Like they could go to ELVIS University and get a crash course
with
on
Angie Marchese.
Yes. I mean, the ultimate tour guide, I think, would be Angie, probably.
I'm sure she just does not have the time.
She cannot do it every day. So she would probably be like the creme de la creme, and probably her staff. But these people are busy doing their archive stuff, so I doubt they really have time to do it. But they're going to have to really get great, personable, knowledgeable people. Yeah. So,
because that's the thing I hear a lot of people say sometimes too, you know, like that's some things people were saying on the insiders is, you know, like I feel like when I go, the tour guides, you know, just aren't that great, and I know more than they know, or, you know, they give wrong information, and you know, that kind of thing. And you know, when you're talking about an experience like this and you're paying a price tag like this, everything has to be on point. And I know that this is something that they say that they've been working on for months and months and months. They've been, you know, trying to figure out how to make it something special, how to make it something unique, how to make it worth it. And so hopefully they've done that. But time will tell, and we'll see. And I know some of you were saying, you know, I want to wait and hear feedback from people that have done the tour. I do as well. I want to know, like, was it worth it? Did you feel like you got your money's worth? You know, what were the pros and cons? You know, what did you like and not like? So I definitely want, you know, I'm hoping that some people will post about their tours and stuff.
I mean, Graceland, if you want Heather and I to come over and do the experience for you and share our knowledge, share our review, we'd love it. Yeah, like I say though, we're prefacing this with, a lot of people think that we don't work at Graceland. We're not affiliated with them in any way. We are just two crazy sisters that love ELVIS. So this is just our opinion on, you know, what we think about it. A lot of you are asking, will you and Heather ever do it? I mean, we'd love to. We would love to. I'm going to have to start our the GoFundMe for it. We're going to have to start selling some more merchandise on the website. So.
And trust me, if we ever do it, we will most definitely get on here and do an entire in-depth
It'll probably be like a minute by minute.
Facebook review, and let all of you know exactly what it was, how it was. Like, it'll almost be like you're experiencing it through us as we do all of our videos, like our ELVIS Week stuff. You know, we love to take you along and kind of make you feel a part of the experience, because we know that a lot of you can't attend that and do that. So we want to make you feel like you are a part of it. And we would do that same thing with this. But yeah, this is something I don't know, because $3,000 is a whole lot of money. And like I said, I am kind of like you all. I'm interested to see how it goes. And I'm interested to hear from people about the experience. Like, you know, what did you think? And do you think it is worth it? So I would kind of like to give it a little bit of time and see. Apparently they're doing this all the way through the end of the year, but they're already looking at, I think, dates into January of 2025. So I'm thinking that they're probably going to see as well. Graceland's going to kind of test the waters and see, you know, how popular is this? How's this going to go? Because I can't imagine that it will sell out every single day. I just can't imagine that there's that many people, especially right now, that can afford an experience like this and a luxury like this, that literally people are beating down the door to do this every single day. So I guess we'll just have to see. But let's talk a little bit more about that, and then we'll answer some questions. But hopefully some of the things we're saying are answering some of your questions. I'm trying to kind of look at your questions and then say something. But yeah, everybody's talking about the price. So everybody's like, this is ridiculous. $6,000 is outrageous. This is absolute greed on Joel's and Graceland's part. ELVIS would be furious. You know, so let's talk a little bit about it.
Let me say a little something about that.
Let's talk a little bit about it. So $6,000, again, is a lot of money. However, Joel did say this, and I hope this is true. Joel did say this. He said all of this money from this experience and tour was going to go to local Memphis charities, and then was also going to go back to the preservation of Graceland and all of its, you know, entities and things. Because as we can all imagine, and this is what, you know, I'll say about that. Number one, I think ELVIS would be proud if that's what happens, because we all know ELVIS was very generous, and he gave to so many charities every single year in Memphis. And so I think, you know, to have money from this go to charities, he'd be like, yes, this is great. Let's do it. If it goes back to the preservation of Graceland and keeping it thriving, I also think he would be like, yes. Because let's think about this, y'all. Here we are 47 years later, and by the grace of God, we still have Graceland. Like, it still exists. It still exists. We can all go and tour it and enjoy it. And not only that, but all of Elvis's artifacts and items still exist. His jumpsuits, his clothes, his belts, his jewelry that we can see and look at. But with that said, it must be really expensive to maintain and to keep up Graceland and the complex and the artifacts. Like that cost alone, because I know how much my household costs. Like I know how much it costs me for electric, water, all that. And so when you think about how expensive it must be to maintain Graceland, and like right now, they're redoing the
wall.
Stained glass behind the meditation garden. They've been working on it for months.
Yeah.
It's a very delicate thing that they're trying to like preserve that as originally as it was. And that costs a lot of money. So if they're putting this money back into that preservation so that Graceland is here another 47 years from now, I think that's amazing. Yeah. And I think Elvis would love that. So I think that's great. Yeah. Also, I look at it this way. Well, did you have something to say? I feel like you had something to say about that too.
Well, no, I was just saying, because you did, I think you figured it up in your head. Like we were just talking about, you don't think about the light bill, the heat bill, all the salaries of all the people that come there. Because I mean, you think about it, the archives team, when we did the archives, we thought about it when we got out of there, and I said, it must be so expensive because they have millions of artifacts. I think they said like at least hundreds of thousands pieces, individual pieces. All of those, like we were looking at, they're wrapped in this special tissue paper, put in a special archival grade box, and then they're stored in multiple warehouses. So I'm thinking
that are temperature controlled.
Temperature control, and you all know you can't even get a little 3x5 storage building. It's like $100 a month just for like some little old thing like that. Now, granted, do they own these? Do they not? Are they renting them? Do they have to go out and buy them and the property? I mean, we just started thinking about it, and I was like, it's probably astounding how much it costs just to run and upkeep Graceland and the grounds and all of the archives.
And the airplane. Like you can't just let things sit.
Yeah.
Like you have to keep them like, you have to keep them like working and preserved and whatever. So I'm sure they have to have like mechanics and people come like look at the plane and like, keep it in order and everything. You gotta, like the lady was just telling me when we did our tour at Graceland, and I was asking her about the wall behind the meditation garden, and she was like, we were hoping it would be done by Elvis week, but she was like, it just takes time. It's so delicate, and they want to do it right, and they want to fix it right this time so it'll last a lot longer and not have to do it for a while. But she was saying they had just repainted all of Graceland outside. They had, washed it down and everything.
So just like
you guys know
minuscule,
prices of stuff now.
Yeah, just minuscule things.
The day-to-day operations.
And everyone's salary. These people aren't doing it for free.
Well, and I look at it this way too, yes, it is expensive. We all know that Elvis was about the fans. We all know that Elvis was a giver. Elvis was not a taker. And Elvis was definitely one of those that, would never want his fans to, be price gouged or, anything of that sort. Yeah. But, I also, again, I look at it this way too, is that Elvis loved Memphis. In Graceland. Yeah. This was where his heart was and where he loved to be. And so the fact, again, that Graceland is still there and is still going strong and thriving, the fact that Graceland is such an economic boost and major player for the city of Memphis and the state of Tennessee. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about one of the most attended attractions.
It's the second highest private residence
in the country. And so the fact that it brings so much of an economic boost to Memphis and to that city and that area, and the fact that it employs so many people in Memphis and is such a great source of employment and income for so many people, I think Elvis would just be elated because, and a lot of people are saying, well, what would Elvis think about this tour and riding the horses and the golf carts? Once again, I try to look at it this way. Elvis also loved sharing Graceland. When he bought Graceland, everybody talks about that he couldn't wait to show it off. He wanted you to come over. He wanted you to stay the night. He had so many people live with him, from Jerry Schilling to Charlie Hodge. He wanted to show Graceland off. He was so proud of it. And he wanted to share that with the people he loved most. And he loved no one more than his fans. And so I feel like he would just be tickled and just be uproarious laugh, if he saw people having such a great time riding a golf cart around Graceland,
Yeah.
a golf cart around Graceland and stuff. And so, he wanted to share that. And this experience, I feel like, is sharing that.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what? Speaking back, this just popped into my head. Thinking about the horses and stuff. I wonder why they never had sires from all of the horses and stuff, like to keep it going, like the horse lineage. I don't know. I'm like, that'd be interesting, but it'd be cute now to be like, this is the great grandson of Rising Sun. Like that would be kind of cute. Wonder why that never happened. That's interesting.
I don't know.
Somebody on here, I just saw a comment. They said if they could use the money to buy the Circle G Ranch, they should. Another destination I would love to go to, and I wish they would open it up to like a little campground or something. I mean, that would be amazing, wouldn't it, to go there?
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah. And, I kind of look at it this way too, here we are 47 years later, and Graceland and ELVIS are just as important and just as popular and iconic as they always have been. But, you do have to keep
things fresh.
Yeah, you do have to keep things fresh, and you do have to keep new ideas and new things coming. It can't just stay the same, and it can't stay stale. And so, I see where I guess, Graceland and EPE are trying to constantly think, like, what can we do? What can we add? What can we make exciting? What will get more people in the door? What will make more people excited? Like, for those of us that, go to Graceland time after time after time, year after year after year after year, you got to think about, like, what's going to keep those people coming? What's going to make them excited? What's going to get them, interested in, whatever. And so I think that's a hard task and stuff.
Yeah.
And, with this said, you don't have to do this experience. You don't have to do this experience. If you don't want to, if you don't believe in it, if you don't have the money, you don't have to do it. It's not taking anything else away from Graceland and the tours. It's not like EPE and Graceland are saying, okay, this is it. We're shutting the doors on tours. You can't tour Graceland at all unless you do this $6,000 tour. No, everything's still going to be there. It's like Holly and I always talk about ELVIS Week. Do what's within your budget and your means. Make it your experience.
Interests.
Yeah, make it your experience. Tailor it to you and what fits you and your budget and your likeness. You're still going to be able to tour Graceland and just do the tour. You can still do the VIP tour. You can still do the Inside the Archives tour. This is just another tour and experience that if you want to go whole hog and go all out, then do it.
Yeah, true. And then another interesting thing he mentioned was the recording studio.
Let's talk about that in a second. Let's answer some questions. Well, I just think we should answer some questions.
Yeah, let's see
what people are saying.
Let's see what everybody's saying.
I'm so interested because, so many people are commenting. Let's see. Laurie's saying would love to do it. Francis is asking, I wonder what will be open during the Raleigh book tour. Yeah, I don't know, because I think that book tour, the one at Graceland, is I think it's 6 that night. So I'm sure they'll still do their normal like tours and stuff. I don't know if they'll have this particular tour open that day, but maybe. Let's see. Deborah's saying exactly. Don't do it if you don't want to. Laugh out loud. Let's see. Let me go to the comments this way.
A lot of people are saying they'd love to do it, and maybe I mean, like I say, hey, we got time. I guess we can all start saving up now. Let's see.
Julie is saying, I love the idea of this tour, and I would do it in a heartbeat, especially during the holidays. Yeah, and that's another interesting thing is I wonder how that's going to work, because I was thinking about it myself, and I was like, if I did the tour myself, I would want to do it in like maybe spring or fall, like when it's nicer, cooler weather. I don't know about, I mean, they're still doing it through like November and December and January and stuff, but I just wonder how that's going to work as far as like cold and stuff, riding the horse or like doing the golf cart thing. I know that they said that it would be dependent on weather. So like in the like months that, if it was supposed to be snow or something, they might have to like reschedule or postpone. But I just wonder about like, if it's cold.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lynette says, if my husband wouldn't have a cow, I'd do it. I think it sounds amazing. Of course, I wish it were cheaper. Yes, Lynette, we all do. We all do. But again, I mean, at the end of the day, Graceland and EPE are also a business, and they have to make money, and they have to be able to keep what's there going.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, Kim. She says, I've heard if you are an Elvis fan, you can't work at Graceland. Is this true? I mean, to me, that's like an oxymoron and bizarre, because I would think that every person that works at Graceland is an Elvis fan. I don't think you get a bigger Elvis fan than Angie Marchese.
I don't know. Maybe she's meaning like, well, I mean, maybe like a crazy fan, because they think maybe you would like try to swap something.
Yeah,
You'd have sticky fingers.
I don't know.
That's an interesting, because that would be odd. I don't know. That's interesting.
Penny's saying I would have a list of questions ready. It definitely would have to be people that know everything about Elvis. Absolutely.
Yep.
Phyllis says, I know things have gotten expensive, but Elvis was so generous, and I have to wonder what would Elvis actually think. Prices have gone up so much. Yeah. You know, like I said, Phyllis, I think, you know, this is a different day and a different time, and the world is different. The economy is different. Prices are different. And so I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a great thing if the money is going to charities and to preservation, then I think, you know, that's something Elvis would want and he would do. Let's see.
Let's see.
Let's see. Sandra says, yes, there's a lot of work that goes into keeping Graceland going. I'm sure Elvis would be proud. Deborah would love to do it. Hello, Stephanie. Wow. Bonnie says she would love to do it. She remembers paying $10 to see him in person, 10 rows away.
Whoa.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Wow, that's crazy.
Lynn says, I'm happy for those who can afford the Presley for a day. I just can't. But I'm not a hater. Laugh out loud. Thank you, Lynn. Agreed.
Well, Carol said that she thinks she heard Angie say they had 1.5 million artifacts. Good Lord. Where are you storing 1.5 million artifacts? They have to have a gazillion warehouses.
And that's also a thing, you know, like that's also a thing I'm thinking about, you know, that people just don't realize like how expensive it must be to run Graceland and stuff. Because I know, like, I've seen pictures even, you know, back in the day, like when Graceland opened its doors in 1982 to the public. And, you know, at first they didn't have all the like, you know, complex and the museums and everything. So they literally just had his jumpsuits and stuff in like, you know, the racquetball court or the like trophy room and everything. And they just had them on hangers, and they didn't have them, you know, like behind glass cases and everything. So just the amount of money and effort that goes into, number one, you know, they have brilliant archivists, and I know that they use Betty Harper's daughter, Loretta, who is incredible. She is one of the like main people that actually literally cleans and restores the jumpsuits.
That's amazing.
And so, you know, her time and effort and what it must cost to do that, and then the cases that you have to buy, and then, you know, the mannequins and everything, all the money and stuff that goes into that. But thank goodness, because if they didn't do that, there's no way that those jumpsuits and artifacts and clothing and things could survive this long.
Yeah.
You know? So Elaine says she would definitely wait until they get it going and see what are the pros and cons.
Yeah, they got to work the kinks out, I guess.
I love Wendy. Hello, Wendy. She says, you're going to need to sell a whole lot more goodie bags for that admission.
Tell me about it.
That is awesome. Let's see. Wow. Okay, Nancy. She says, I can't afford $6,000. It would have to include Elvis himself. Oh, gosh.
Wouldn't it be awesome if they'd let you spend the night in Graceland? Like, just like,
I don't know about that.
Well, like just in the foyer.
Yeah, but
like if I could just get a little sleeping bag and just sleep sleep in the foyer. Like I don't have to have like, you know, a bedroom or anything. I just, you know, they could literally roll out a little cot and I would just be like, oh, but I wouldn't sleep a wink. Y'all know me. I'd be up going, do you hear anything? I think I saw something. That would be me all night.
Let's see. I know, Nancy, I do. Nancy's like, Heather has sick eyes. I know, I do.
I know she's struggling, y'all. She's barely she's talking it up, and so that's making.
And I agree with you, Teresa. She's like $1,500 is still pricey.
It is.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But like I said, when you think about the cost of other things, because I think a lot of things that Graceland does is pricey. You know,
Yeah.
like I think a lot of things they do. Like I think a lot of like sometimes the packages for Elvis Week, especially the platinum, is very pricey.
Yes.
You know, I think the parking is pricey. I think, you know,
Mhm.
food is pricey, you know, all of that stuff. So yes, but when you think about it in the scheme of all of that and everything you're getting, like when you think about the experience, the duration, the hours, the, you know, one-on-one kind of attention and time, then, you know, the 1,500 doable. Doable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's a pretty good mix. There's like
Yeah.
half the people saying like I would love to do it, I would do it if I could afford it. The other half of the people are saying no, absolutely not. Elvis would be furious. He would be mad at it, mad at the price. So see, that's what I'm saying. This is the interesting dynamic of this whole Presley for a day.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, that is correct, Marie. I mean, Joel did say only part of it would be donated. He said part of it would be donated to charities. The rest of it would go to preservation of Graceland.
Yeah.
Let's see. I agree with that, Tina. She says way too expensive after paying for flights from the UK and then staying at the guest house. It's getting ridiculously expensive too. I will say that. I think the guest house is getting like out of control.
Yeah.
Out of control. So yeah, and that was something I thought was also interesting. Is I thought that might be a part of the Presley for a day thing. I thought maybe they would include a room for you, for the night.
Nice.
Like I thought, you know, they would include like you do your whole experience and then you get to stay like the night at the guest house. Like, but as far as I know, that's not included. Also, I will say that I'm interested to see the swag bag. Because it's supposedly, it says that it's valued at like $450. And I will say I heard Alicia Dean talking with Argo on the Graceland Beat about it. And she said it is like incredible. She said that, she said that she said she'll be able to reveal it and talk about it on the Graceland Beat. But she said it is like some unbelievable merchandise and stuff that she was like, even I want it. And she was like, it's like a collector's dream. So I'm interested to see what that includes. Because that's also, you know, if you look at that, you know, when you go to Graceland and stuff, I mean, if you're like me, how much money do you spend on merchandise? And so if this swag bag is really phenomenal and has some really like killer collectible pieces and it's valued at like $450, there's part of your $1,500. You know, like I'm trying to like kind of make it make sense, y'all. I'm trying to make it make sense because that's how I am. I'm a budgeter. I am a penny pincher. Holly will tell you this. I'm a bargain shopper. So I try to like make things make sense.
And I'm like I'm great with money as well, but I'm a little more lenient on things because I think about the overall like time and effort and stuff for different things. And so like when Heather will be like, I'm not paying that, I'll be like, Heather, look at it compared to this. Like you're paying, you know, like this is you got to think about that. So.
Wendy, I love your comment. I'd like to know more. She says, I truly love to support EPE and its ventures, but I cannot accept this one. It just seems really out of touch with who Elvis's fans are. Having said that, do I wish I had $6,000? Yes, laugh out loud. Yeah, I'm interested. So how do you feel like it's out of touch with Elvis fans? Do you feel like it's just because, or are you saying just because of the price? Like it's just like expensive? Like, how, like what do you think? Also, I saw somebody asking about like, is it 4 people or 8 people? So apparently the way that they're doing it is they're offering 2 different tours a day for up to 4 people each tour. So there'll be like 1 tour of 4 people, 1 tour of 4 people.
Yeah.
And like I said, you know, it's like up to 4 people. So like if there's like just some people out there that have money to burn and money to blow, then I'm sure it's just going to be like them and 1 guest and they're going to pay the full $6,000.
Wow.
But woo.
What?
Let's see. Jane says, that's a nice comment. She says, the ones that truly love and are true fans would not complain about the price as long as it is going for what it's meant for. Like it. Yep, Penny and a lot of others are saying it must cost thousands and thousands of dollars for the upkeep of Graceland. So there is a lot involved that we don't know about. Absolutely true. A lot of people are saying that they don't feel like that's a bad price after all that's included. And I think that's kind of a thing. And I hope Holly and I have kind of helped to break that down for you all. Because I think the thing that a lot of people just like hit them straight in the face when this all came about is I think people just saw the $6,000 and the Presley for a day, and they automatically thought it was like $6,000 a person. You know, so hopefully us kind of like breaking it down, what all it includes, what all it entails, and that when you really look at it, it's $1,500 a person, makes it seem a little different.
And I'm interested too to see people's feedback on it stuff, because like it says it's like a 7 to 8 hour thing, but I'm wondering if you have kind of like free time in there, because like Carol I think was saying that like she could spend 3 or 4 hours in the complex alone, which is so true. And like when we did our archive tour, we actually had to leave to get to another show because it was so long, because the tour guide was being so thorough and taking us around to different things. So that's a good question. Like I wonder if it's like, okay, you get an hour with a guide and then you get a couple hours on your own, or like, you know, you've got time between, you know, the daytime events till the nighttime when you tour the mansion. Like that'll be interesting too. Or can you get there early and just peruse around? I mean, yeah, you know, that's an interesting thing. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. And a lot of people are just like using the phrase, what would Elvis want?
Yeah.
And again, that's such a hard question to answer and tackle, because he's not here to ask. We don't know. But, you know, that's one thing that I'll say I feel like is very tricky as well. For EPE and for Graceland and for us fans, is that, you know, that's one thing that Joel keeps saying, is, you know, we always try, and that's one thing Angie, all of them say that work for EPE and Graceland, they say we always try to think in our heads when we decide to do an event or an exhibit or whatever, we try to think, what would Elvis want?
Yeah.
How would he want us to do this?
And that's
how would he want us to handle this? What would Elvis want? It's not about us. It's about Elvis. It's about preserving his legacy and his name and what he wants. And I think, you know, unfortunately, that's become harder and harder now that we've lost Lisa Marie, because I think she was that, you know, contact and that go-to and that sounding board that Joel and them would say, hey, Lisa, what do you think about this Presley for a Day tour? You know, and we all know Lisa, she had opinions. She loved to share.
And I wonder if she knew about it.
Maybe they had discussed it with her. So I think, you know, we've lost a lot there, not having Lisa Marie to bounce these things off of. Hopefully they're going to be including Riley, and I'm sure they are. They're going to be talking to her. But it's still different. You know, it's still different. You know, Riley doesn't have the connection and the you know, knowledge of Elvis that Lisa Marie had. And so I don't know. To me, it's just, that's a hard question to answer. What would Elvis want? You know, you try to do your best by him and you try not to make mistakes, but everybody's human. And at the end of the day, like I said, at the end of the day, I am just, as an Elvis fan and lover, I am just so thrilled that Graceland still exists. That it's still there for me to enjoy and love, that they're doing what they can to preserve it and to keep it going. And so.
Well, and I'll be the voice of reality. It is a business and they've got to make a profit.
Yes.
Like, I mean, we're not fooling anybody that part of this money, like, is, I mean, maybe not this exact Presley for a Day, because he said there were no profits on it. But like everything else they're doing, it's for a profit. I mean, this is a corporation. It is an enterprise. And all those people, I'm sure some might are huge Elvis fans and would probably do it for free. But there's quite a few that are like, I need a paycheck. So it is what it is, y'all.
And again, it's not like taking away anything from like people being able to visit and tour Graceland. This is just an added addition. You do it or you don't.
Well, you know, let's mark on the calendar. We're going to revisit this, and like, let's give it 6 or 8 months, and we will revisit with hopefully some reviews from people and online.
I mean, will it even still exist? You know, will this be able to keep going? Will there be enough people that want to do it and can't afford to do it? You know, I mean, you got to try it. You'll never know if you don't try.
Right.
You know, Debbie's asking what's next, the upstairs when that tour slows down. I don't think so, Debbie. I really don't.
I mean, as much as I want to see it, there's the other side of me that doesn't want to ever be.
And that's what, you know, I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying. They're like, oh, the fans wish and stuff. But, you know, I also think, yes, that as much as we want to, we all know that, you know, we love and respect Elvis so much that we all want to keep that sacred for Elvis, you know, and keep that upstairs and stuff. So I don't know. I don't think that will ever become a thing. I don't think that they will. I don't think that they will ever open that upstairs up. I mean, at least under this management in this watch. I don't foresee them doing that.
No.
I don't foresee them doing that. Now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, if Graceland changes hands again, or EPE changes hands again, and it, whatever,
or
I don't
faces
know.
hard times, is it either this or go bankrupt? I mean, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. If you get to a either or, like,
it's like we gotta do this.
We gotta keep it open or whatever.
How would you feel about, and you guys weigh in on this, what do you think about if they did just like a virtual tour? Like if, say, Angie did like video, like they did a virtual tour where you could see where, so like no one could physically go in there, but her,
the upstairs.
Sorry, I didn't make myself clear. What if they did a virtual tour of the upstairs? Because I think Angie said she has to go in there, like only she and maybe one or two other people are allowed to go up there to like clean.
Because they have to clean this stuff.
Yeah, you have to, and make sure there's not a leak or something's not going wrong, or there's mice or whatever. I don't know. What do y'all think about that? Because like, would that be too much? Like, do you feel like that'd be too invasive? It's like, no one would step foot in there, but virtually, I don't know. That could be their next step if they had to do it. If they had to. This is only if Graceland is on the brink of destruction.
Yeah. Who knows? Oh, Helen, she says, if I win the lottery, I'd take you guys. Thank you, Helen. That's so sweet. Let's see. Oh, hello, Jennifer from Tupelo.
Hey. Yeah, so interesting. I don't know. Well, so let's move on a little bit. What do you think about the recording studio? Because that's also been a point of contention.
Yes.
With a lot of people. And I don't really know why. I kind of think it's the coolest thing. Okay, well, you explain it to me. But, I mean, I have my thoughts on it and my thoughts of where I think it should go. And I think that would solve everybody's problems. But let's hear what you have to say about it.
Well, let me just say this. And again, I don't know. This was coming from Joel, and he didn't really say a lot about this, so I don't know exactly what he meant or exactly what it entails. I'm just saying what I think it might mean. But again, when they're doing this Road to the 50th, the Presley for a Day thing was a big announcement, but also Joel said that they are looking at building a recording studio at Graceland, because apparently, which if this is true, this is awesome. Apparently, Angie and them discovered in the archives, in the paperwork, that ELVIS had been working on building a recording studio at Graceland before he passed. That is way cool. That is way cool. And so believable.
And I'm shocked that it's already happened.
Yes, well,
during his lifetime. I'm shocked he didn't. Like, I would have thought week one he'd been like, let's add on and put a recording studio right there.
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. I think this probably is something that came towards like the end of his life and stuff. Because, I mean, Elvis was, Elvis packed so much into like such a short life, and in that like 20 plus years of like his actual fame and recording and everything, he packed so much in. But I think it was so important at that time for him to go to Nashville and record, go to LA and record, go to New York and record, go to Memphis and record.
Well, and maybe he wanted to keep a work-life balance. Yeah. Like maybe, now that I think, now I've answered my own question. Now that I think about it, maybe Elvis still wanted Graceland to be his refuge. And he's like, because that was work to him. Yeah. I mean, he loved singing and all that, but that was his job. Yeah. So I guess it'd be like, with that. I
think the flip side of that coin is, I think as Elvis got older and, towards the end and everything, I think Elvis just really loved being at home, being at Graceland. I think that's why he got the Lisa Marie, because he wanted to be able to jet set over here to do a show, but he could get right back to Memphis. He could go here and do a concert, be right back to Memphis that same night or that same day, because he just felt most at peace, most happy at Graceland. And, we all know that his last recording sessions were in the Jungle Room. Yeah. And I'm sure that's, was like
sparked his interest.
Yeah, sparked his interest in everything. And he, probably was like, man, I could just do this in Memphis. Like I could do this, I could just have my own recording studio right here, and I could literally just get up whenever I want to get up, walk right out and do my recordings and be done with it. So I think this whole thing is very interesting. And like I said, that's really all Joel said about it. And so number one, because there's also been some like about this as well. Number one, I have many questions as well. Yes. I want to know, is this actually like drawings and things that Elvis designed? Like, was he designing this? Was he like, because, you know, Elvis, like through his years of recording and things, and Elvis was just almost like a natural musical genius.
Yes.
You know,
Absolute
he just
genius.
had it in him. He just had music and singing in his body. And
And
so I think he had to pick up things along the way of, you know, equipment and recording and how the process works. And I think that probably interested him. And so, you know, did he literally sit down and like kind of draw out and sketch out, like, I want this kind of recording studio. This is kind of what I want. Or was he working with a designer or an architect? You know, was he working with someone and they were drawing up plans for him and then he was going to like approve them and all that kind of stuff. So it'd be interesting to see like how hands-on was he with it. And then number two, I think the biggest thing that's been the uproar with the fans is, you know, don't build it on the grounds of Graceland. Don't mess up Graceland. Don't,
And I can see that.
Yeah, don't put it on the property. Like Elvis, you know, wouldn't want you putting things on the property and whatever. But I don't know if that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if that was like in the plans. Like, did Elvis literally have like somewhere in the backyard where, you know, like the stable and everything is, did he already have an area where he's like, we're going to put the recording studio there? So
And
if
if that's the case,
if he did, then I can see them being like, this is where we're going to put it.
Yeah.
Now, if he didn't, then I don't know which way they'll go. I don't know if they'll put it on the property of Graceland, or maybe they'll just put it somewhere near or beside it. Like, you know, how they kind of put that chapel in the woods, you know, it's over from Graceland. Also, you know, Holly and I were talking about it after Joel said this. And if any of you all have been to Graceland and Memphis, kind of in between the guest house and Graceland, there used to be a little gift shop called Boulevard Souvenirs that moved. And I think Joel and them acquired that property and land. Maybe they're going to tear that down and build it there. And it'll be kind of right there beside Graceland. So I don't know.
Or there's the complex where it, the UNESCO is, I mean, that's a huge parking lot and building. I mean, they could add on to that and put it over there. I mean, who's to say? Yeah. I'm not sure. But there's a lot of logistics with this too, because he didn't say, like, is it going to be a functioning recording studio like we have here in Nashville, which there are, like, every studio basically in Nashville, I think you would say is open to the public. Like, there's different venues. Like, there's a couple of studios that are so exorbitant in pricing that only the stars can record there. I mean, like, you could record if you're nobody, but you would have to dish out tens of thousands of dollars. Then there's other studios where you might have a celebrity come in because they like the vibe, or you could have a nobody because it's or you don't know nobody, but like an amateur, or, you know, even someone just first starting out, because it would be a little more price effective. So, you know, are they just going to build this like recording studio and only have like superstars come in and record, which that would kind of be cool. You know, if I was there and was like, oh my God, is that Post Malone? You know,
or is it just literally going to be for tours? Is it just going to be a tourist attraction that's added on to, like, when you tour the mansion and then the airplanes and then the complex? Is it just going to be another extension, you know, where they include like really cool artifacts of Elvis's from recording?
Or it could be like, what's Jack White's studio here called? Three Men, or
I don't know.
It's got the word three in it. But y'all know, well, if you know Jack White, he's like a musician, producer, and all that. He's very, very big here in Nashville. And he has a recording studio, but part of it has like artifacts and memorabilia, and because he's a major music collector. I think he even bought something of Elvis's a few years back. I can't remember what it was. Yeah. But he also has like a little booth in there. You literally can walk in off the street. They've got pre-done, almost like karaoke tracks, and you can go and record yourself singing whatever you want to, or you can bring, I think, a track in of your own and sing to it, and they record it. They press the record for you, or the vinyl, and then like you take it on your way out. So it could be a combination of like Jack White's, where you go in and like, maybe they're like, here are all of Elvis's microphones. Here's the speaker he sat on. Here's his favorite, you know, chair or whatever. And then plus like, hey, record your favorite Elvis song and have all the tracks. Maybe. Yeah. It could be so many things.
Yeah. So I think it's very interesting because, like I said, I mean, I had no idea that Elvis, you know, was, I mean, it makes sense. Like I said, it makes sense now thinking about Elvis and, you know, towards the end, how much more he wanted to be in Memphis and be at home and be closer to home all the time. And so it makes sense that he would have that idea in his head of wanting a recording studio right there at his fingertips. But I didn't know it existed. Didn't know that he had either started working on plans or having plans worked on and things. So I think this is just another cool facet to the whole Elvis fandom and world. What do you guys think? Would you like to see a recording studio? Would you like to see it on Graceland property or near or whatever? Yeah,
and maybe
so interesting.
They say they just discovered it, but for the sake of like good marketing and sales and business, maybe as they discover things, they hold back and they're like, oh, like maybe they had these plans 10 years ago, and they're just like, okay, we got to save this for like a special.
Yeah, and I'd like to hear the story. Like, when did they? You know, that'd be interesting too.
Yeah,
like, is this literally something that has been sitting there all these years,
and
then they hadn't gotten to it?
Yeah,
you know, they just hadn't gotten to this particular box of archives, or you know,
was there like an engineer that was like, oh, by the way, Elvis and I were working on these plans, here they are, like, you know, was it someone's home? You know, you don't know.
So
that would be interesting.
It's very cool. And you know, I like think about it and stuff, and if they're gonna do it, if it comes to fruition, it kind of makes me melancholy and sad that it didn't come about a long time ago, because how cool would it have been for Lisa Marie to record her stuff there?
You
know, how cool would it have been for her to have recorded her albums and stuff there? I know she did the whole like photo shoot and everything at Graceland. Like, she did some photos in Gladys's bedroom and stuff that were really beautiful and stuff. But I just think, you know, how cool would that have been?
Well, it still might be cool, because hey, Riley sings.
That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say,
and who knows about the twins? That one of them may have the next best voice ever. Who knows? So
I think they say there is one of them that's very talented.
Really?
Like either instrumentally or vocally. Like, I feel like one of them either really sings well, or they play like the piano and stuff really well on the guitar. So I mean, there's got to be music.
There's got to be in those genes.
There's got to be music in those genes. But anyway, interesting stuff. And you know, again, like I said, this is an exciting time, I feel like, for Elvis and for Elvis fans, because this whole like road to the 50th. You know, we have 3 years, and that's what, you know, EP and Graceland are saying is, you know, every so often and through the next few years, they're going to be rolling out and unveiling, you know, new exhibits, new tours, new things, new ideas. And so it's gonna, you know, be really exciting to see like what all is coming and stuff. So
interesting.
Let's look at some other
Do you have any
comments.
more questions? Yeah, because like I feel like we're gonna have to do a part 2 of this, because we also have some thoughts on like the big time future, like of Graceland, like decades from now. So maybe we'll save that for a part 2, because we've already been on here.
I know, right?
And just to briefly touch on, just because it's coming up, the Riley Keough book tour, y'all, is going to be here before we know it. They're announcing stuff. They still haven't announced the special guests yet. So I'm still, you know, keeping my money on 2 or 3 people. So we'll see. But Heather and I are going to that. We're super excited. We're probably going to go twice if we can hack it. Just because we're so fortunate that one of them happens to be here in Nashville. So I don't know. Are you guys going? Are you excited? I am. I am so pumped about this book coming out. Oh, it's going to be so exciting.
Yeah. That's going to be
Do you have any other questions to answer?
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to scroll. Give me a second.
I know. There's so many. There are so many. Deborah says something to save for. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I know we need to start like our Presley for a Day jar. Like, we should just put it right here, like every time we're out.
A lot of people are saying they think the virtual tour would be awesome.
Thanks, guys. I think it would be too.
Let's see.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, everybody's on here.
Let's see.
Carol, you're so sweet. Thank you for the stars. Carol just gave us our first stars for Presley for a Day.
Yes, thanks, Carol.
We're gonna have to start a Graceland piggy bank. Oh, everybo's talking about General Hospital is coming to Graceland in October, and a lot of people are going. Well, you know, I wish Days of Our Lives would come. I've never been. I mean, I know a little bit about General Hospital, but Heather and I were more Days of Our Lives fans. And like I say, I would really enjoy it if they would bring back some of the primetime soap opera shows. Like if they could have a Dallas reunion there, since it's so meaningful for Priscilla. That would be super fun. Or Knox. Y'all remember Knox Landing? I loved that darn show. It was kind of a spinoff of Dallas, and you can't find it anywhere. Just on an off topic, I have I'm looking at them right now. I have a few DVDs of Dallas. I need to get the whole collection and rewatch it because that was a great show. I just remember I was too little to like really enjoy it. So I need to like finish that out. But I was looking the other day for Knox Landing. You can't find it. Can't find
Really?
it. No, they have no DVDs of it, which is very odd. Because it was a hit, I think. I mean, like I say, we were little back then, so I don't know if it was or not. It's just in my mind it was. And they used to show reruns on TV, but you don't see that anymore. So anyway, if they would have a Knox Landing / Dallas reunion, Holly and Heather would be there. We would be there.
Let's see.
You see anything else good?
Well, let's see. Lynette says, I wonder if this tour is going to help fund future projects being planned for 2027.
Maybe.
I'm sure.
Maybe.
I'm sure. Absolutely. Patsy is saying, maybe it's time to be realistic and think, would Elvis be happy with the way things are? No, he wouldn't. It seems Elvis has been forgotten in all this and just down to how much money they can make for. You know, Patsy, I don't know. I see it differently. I see it differently. I think, again, I think Graceland was Elvis's pride and joy that he never wanted to let go of. You know, in that interview that we all remember when, you know, the reporter asked him, you know, do you have any plans to sell Graceland and, you know, get rid of it and move out of Memphis? And Elvis laughs and says, no, I plan to keep Graceland as long as I possibly can. So the fact that it's still here, I think he would be elated. And again, it costs so much money to keep that and keep that up. And so, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Somebody just had a great idea, Heather, you would die. Somebody was like, what if one of Riley's special guests is Austin Butler?
That's what I keep saying. Could it be? Could it be?
I mean, he did have a special relationship with Miss Bree, although brief.
Yeah.
But special. And I mean, I'm going to say that I don't think it'd be a bad idea to have Joel come out for a hot minute. Because, you know, he and Lisa were like pretty close. So he, you know, if you're just having guests that were close to Lisa, I mean, maybe, I don't know. So, but yeah, I didn't even think about Austin Butler.
Yeah.
He'd be great.
I mean, yeah, I don't know who it's going to be. They were talking about it on the Graceland Beat the other week, and Alicia says she knows, but she couldn't reveal yet, at least. I don't know if they will reveal before the actual day or whatever, but it's like her and Argo were saying, Riley has so many famous friends and so many connections and so many people. It could honestly be absolutely
what if it's Fergie? Because I love the royal family, y'all. I was like obsessed with Princess Diana. For a lot, I mean, I'm still kind of obsessed. But Sarah Ferguson, Fergie, I would love if she would come since she was such good friends with Lisa. I would love that. I would stalk her and try to get my picture. Because, I mean, when am I ever going to get to see the Duchess again? I feel like if I had to do a number one, I think it'd be Danny. I think that's who my pick would be out of everybody. Because we've heard from a lot of other people and stuff, but I've just never really heard anything from him. And I feel like he just kind of knew her the longest and probably the most intimately and all that. So, you know, that's my special guest hope is that it's Danny. So I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know, Yvonne. I didn't hear that, but maybe she says she's pretty sure that Joel said you get a suite at the guest house with the Presley for a day. I don't know. I was trying to kind of navigate that.
That would sweeten it.
Yeah, I was trying to kind of navigate that when I was like looking at when they detailed it out on the website, but it was like saying like it kind of listed the, you know, Presley for a day tour, and then it was like stay also like a Presley for a day, and then it was kind of talking about the like hotel and giving the prices for that. So I don't know.
I'll tell you what would make me jump on
somebody that's done it. Is that included? I don't know.
I would jump on it if you got to go to one of those suites that Priscilla designed.
Yes.
If I got to stay there, I would probably just start a side hustle and get money for it.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people are saying they don't feel like that this makes Elvis seem like he's been forgotten. I don't. Again, it's preserving Graceland. It's keeping it there. It's keeping it there for us and people and fans to enjoy. And it is like that beautiful little time capsule of Elvis and how he left it and, you know, when he left and everything. And so I don't feel like he's forgotten at all.
Anything else you're seeing?
I mean, there's a lot, but I don't think I can get to all of them. Yeah. But yeah, like Holly said, I mean, I'll try to go back through and like read some more of your comments and look at them and everything. And then next week, because there were several other things I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah, we'll do part 2 next week.
Yeah, there's several other things I wanted to talk about today of some exciting things that are just coming up in general in the Elvis world. But yeah, I'll look through some more questions and stuff. We'll revisit we'll revisit next week and, follow up with some more questions and things. But yeah, interesting stuff, y'all.
It is
Interesting stuff.
It's
Never
interesting.
never a dull moment in the Elvis world. Always something going on, something happening.
Mhm.
And, you can never say that Elvis fans aren't passionate.
You cannot.
Because they always have a voice and they always have an opinion.
And I appreciate
And
that
I
about
appreciate
it.
it. I
and
love
I
it.
enjoy it.
I love it. And that's why we like
so.
to get on here and talk with you guys and, give our opinion and see what you guys think. And sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree. But at the end of the day, we can all agree that we love Elvis and it's all about Elvis. And that's all that matters.
Elvis, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
All right, y'all. We'll have a wonderful start of fall week. I know Heather and I are. I hope next week Heather's going to be feeling a lot better. She did real good, y'all. She did really good because I was a little bit nervous about her. I was like, she's going to get a coughing attack, and she's trapped between me and a wall. So it worked out. Anyway,
drinking water.
Anyway, y'all stay happy and healthy, and we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.